Hi and welcome. So let's continue on with control flow, and in this section we have started looking at conditional statements. The first conditional we are going to look at is the if-else. Now an if-else statement in the if section, so the if, this part, you will run whatever is here if the condition that has been provided is true. So you can see in this one, I don't have an else. We'll see about this in upcoming videos. So if the condition that has been provided here is true, then you will run whatever is in there. Else, you can use the else block to run an alternative, at least to give people a feedback. For example, you're taking input from users and you only want them to input numbers, or you want them to put in a number which is greater than 100. So here you can say if x is greater than 100, then whatever is inside here will be done because this condition will be true. But if they put a number which is less than 100, you can tell them, hey, please put a number which is greater than 100. So that is a basic if-else, and that is how you can use it. Now something else that is important for you to understand about the if-else is the boolean section, because this is fully powered by the boolean, whereby if this condition that has been provided here is true or it is false. So in the boolean, if you remember in the section about literals, we looked at the boolean literal, and somewhere in the boolean literal we spoke about falsy values. Now what are falsy values? These are values that will be false by default. So what are some of these? If I can remember, we had the null, if, a data, if any kind of data or any object or a function, whatever you put in there is null, this will be a false value. And then we also had undefined. So if anything was undefined, we said that will be a false value. Then we also had 0. If anything is 0, 0 will be equals to false. And then we also had the empty string. So this will be evaluated to false by default. So if you had anything like if, let's say we have a variable here, m, right? So this variable m, and then you say if m is greater than 0, or let's just say m greater than 10, and you want to do something in here. So you haven't given m an initial value. So whatever is in here will not get run, because m by default at this particular point, if you remember when we looked at variables, at this particular point m is undefined. So whatever you try to run in here will be false. So this won't run. But if you have an else statement, then whatever is in the else section is going to run. So that's just an example of the boolean. So this is very important for you to note. If the value that is here evaluates to a null value, undefined, 0, or even -0, or the empty string. These are things that we looked at in data types and literals. So if you can't remember them, just go back and have a look at this once again. So coming back here, you can see that we have this if that has no else section, and this if that has an else section, and then we also have another one here which has been compounded. This is a compound else if, whereby if a condition here is true, do that. Else if the condition here is true, do that. Else if there's another else if here, do that. So what happens with this one? It only does the first true. So if it goes through the first one and sees this is not true, it will pass that. Else if this is which is not true also, don't do that. And if we have another else if down here which is true, then we will do that. So it does the first true one. And if none of the above is true, it's just going to go directly to the else and do whatever you tell it to do in the else. If everything else fails, just do this. So we're going to look at this each at a time. We're going to look at them and we're going to see examples. I know you're yearning for examples, so in the next video, let's start by looking at the if condition, and then we're going to do an example of this, then we'll do another one of this and another one of this. So I will see you in the next video when we continue from here. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, just make sure that you let me know as soon as you experience any kind of doubts or you need any kind of help. So see you in the next video.